Moving on to likely or unlikely, one of our favorite segments, especially on a Friday. The rules are very simple. I read a statement and the pundits tell me whether that statement is likely or unlikely to happen. I have the list prepared from producer Kyle. Let's begin with this. John Herdman will not be the coach for Toronto FC to start the 2025 MLS season. Gareth Wheeler, is that likely or unlikely?
No. Don't come to me first.
No one wanted that. I was doing that thing like in school where you don't make eye contact.
Yeah,
that's what I was trying to do. Exactly.
Jordan's volunteered. Okay, Jordan Wilson, you go first.
But that's when you get picked. When you try to duck or look away, that's when you get picked. You have to kind of like look at the nose. You can't make eye contact. Just look straight. Anyways, likely or unlikely, John Herdman. I think it's unlikely. I think he's going to start the season. I think a lot could happen after he starts, meaning the first 5 to 10 games. But I think it's likely that he remains.
All right, since I can't see who's making eye contact with me or not because John Herdman's face is on the screen, I'm going to assume that Oliver Platt is. You go second.
Go on, Ollie.
I'm not trying to report anything here, but I think with the way things have been trending the past few weeks, if I'm being honest, I think it's increasingly likely that he does not.
Sounds like you're reporting, Ollie.
I'm not reporting.
Don't do that, Jordan.
Take that.
Don't do that.
What it will.
Don't get him in trouble. That's your colleague. Gareth Wheeler, we need a vote. Need a majority.
I thought Jordan was going to go likely. I've been going back and forth on this. If we asked this question to me 3 weeks ago, I would have said that Herdman was going to be staying over the course of the offseason into the new season. I just think that this club has a whole lot of other priorities that need to be dealt with. They were in a difficult spot financially, just in terms of the money that they're losing on this team for a number of different reasons. You want to fire another coach right now and his entire staff who he handpicked and brought in. Meanwhile, you're already paying for Bill Manning. I think you're paying for the last manager as well. It's a difficult one, but kind of like Ollie, it just seems like there's a case where there's smoke, there's fire. And the more that you're around it, I know it was business as usual when the report was released last week, business as usual at the BMO training ground and in and around the club, and they're planning for next season. But I feel tension in and around the club right now. I feel like they're waiting for the shoe to drop, for some clarity to be presented one way or the other. And the longer that this goes without it being clear, I think it's 55-45 right now. Likely he's gone. I can't believe I'm saying that because I just don't think it's a priority. It's close to a coin flip, honestly. But that's the more and more, I'm just trying to read the tea leaves here. What's actually going on is just seeming a little bit precarious based upon all the noise that continues to come out. So not advocating it for it. I don't even know if that's the right move right now. I think the club needs a little bit of stability in that area going into next season, but we'll see.
Oliver Platt with a smug half smile because that seemed a whole lot.
Do you agree, Ollie? Do you agree, Ollie?
Probably likely.
Agree with that?
Well, firstly, there's been some discussion in my probably likelies. It's a hopefully likely. That it's
I'm sorry. You're right. I stand corrected. Hopefully,
get it right, guys.
Yeah,
which I don't think either of you were putting. Yes,
I do agree with you. I think you're along the same lines as me.
All right. The order of these questions seems suspect. I'll leave it at that. Likely or unlikely, Bobby Smyrniotis won't be the head coach of Forge to start the 2025 season. Gareth off screen, no eye contact, Oliver Platt, and Jordan's looking right down the barrel. Jordan Wilson.
I start again?
Jordan's got courage.
Again? All right, I'm going to start. But
you're like Vic the Lion.
Why are you ducking for this one? I'll say this, all right? I think every season that you start with Bobby Smyrniotis, he could make a move because he's that good. He's proven time and time again that he can go on. I listened to him in the press conference, match day -1, before the finals, and just talking about every 3 years, they kind of like recycle, start fresh. And I remember him last season just raising his hands like this, and I thought homeboy's gone. There's just something about that moment where I was like, oh, Bobby might be leaving. And then comes back this season, this 2024 season, has a great year, but doesn't have that great ending. And you're just thinking there's a time that someone's going to maybe fill his shoes. There's going to be David Edgar. There's going to be a successor. I will say that it's likely that that was his last game, that he could make that move. I feel like, and I'm not going off of anything I know, anything I've reported. I'm just going off of feeling that like he's earned the right to go wherever he wants to go. And he's a phenomenal coach. I think if an opportunity presented itself to him, I think he would take it. And I don't think anyone could blame him for doing that, because he has been, for me, the top Canadian coach, period. Like, he's just been exceptional throughout the years, and he's earned the right.
Where's he going? Where's he going, Jordan?
You know, I can't say that. And I'm not going to be like Ollie. From what I hear, he could be staying put. But he could be going as well.
Oliver Platt, what are you hearing? What's your gut telling you?
We don't know, man.
It might be one of the worst answers I've ever heard on this show.
I said likely.
He gave an answer.
Yeah, the wheels, whatever. It's better than this.
Could be go. Could be staying.
Oliver Platt.
The question says start of the season, so I'm going to say unlikely. I'm going to say he's going to be in the dugout for that first Champions Cup match. Would I be surprised if this offseason is the offseason that someone finally takes a chance on him, as I think personally they should have done some time ago? No, but I'll say unlikely for now.
Okay, Gareth Wheeler.
Well, Adam, you alluded to the whole point here is like, if Herdman goes from Toronto FC, is that Bobby's job? You know, is there a natural fit or transition there? So if you back one, you need to back the other.
The important
so
thing
I don't know if he would be the guy that they would turn to, but I think that that's what you're alluding to, Adam Jenkins. Every single time, every single offseason, the past 2 or 3, we've sat here and this question is being asked. And I say, it's likely that Bobby Smyrniotis is gone. So I'm going to go the other way this time around, because I keep on saying likely, unlikely. He's going to be there to start the season. Take that as you will.
Okay, Oliver Platt. Likely or unlikely, Jacob Schafberg will be playing his club football outside of North America at some point next season.
I'm going to say unlikely. I think he's fine in Nashville. I still think there's some growth to happen there. Like, he's been playing very, very well for Canada. I still think there's room for a bit more consistency and another step in his MLS play. So, like, I have no issue with core Canadian players. You know, we want, obviously, our top players to be playing at the highest levels, but MLS is not a bad level. And to have a few guys in this team who are playing consistently week in, week out for MLS clubs is not a problem for me.
Wheels, you agree?
I kind of disagree. I think someone's going to take a chance on him. I believe that Schaffelberg signed a new contract, but that's irrelevant for me. Just, he's a young player that has a very specific skill, and it's one that you really can't teach. He's got wheels, he's got pace, he plays direct, he gets in behind. I think there'll be a club out there that think they can polish that up a little bit and maybe develop some of the other elements of his game. That's why managers love this profile player. It's got to be a very specific club, but I can see there being a scenario where he does move on. Yes.
Jordan Wilson.
Unlikely. I think he's staying in the MLS. I think he's staying in North America. I think that the way that he plays, I think it's like how aggressive he is and how the fact that he's so athletic, I think that suits North American football. I understand people will say that it's grown, and it has, but I know firsthand in Europe, there's a lot of tactics involved, and a player like that who has raw pace and you just want to unleash, I think it suits him being here.
24.
It's like it's a big decision though, right? Like, we're not long from being a year out from the World Cup, and so do you take that jump where it may not work out and your career can go that way, or do you play every week in MLS?
Great
right?
Point.
Listen, you would have
Nashville was a little bit of a Nashville new counter argument. Nashville was a disaster last year. Played really poorly. No identity. They're gonna have a new manager coming in.
He's playing well for Canada.
But there's no guarantees that a new manager comes in that he's the preferred choice or he fits the way that they want to play moving forward. I just think there's some questions there to be answered.
Yeah, true. You'd also have to pry me out of Nashville. What a setup it seems like they've got down there.
I wouldn't be able to play there.
To Gareth Wheeler. Likely or unlikely? We just saw the CPL Best 11. Brian Wright was there. He was wearing white, blue, and green with some gold trim. Likely or unlikely, he'll be playing for Mauro Eustáquio next season.
Good pronunciation, man. Portuguese.
It's likely if I'm Mauro Eustáquio, I want to keep Brian Wright there. I'm going to go unlikely. He might be tempted by another move, but he's been a little bit of a nomad. And this year, by playing with this club, he was the Players' Player of the Year. and found great success and had his best season in the Canadian Premier League. Sometimes stability is best for the player in that moment. Will there be other takers? Yes, because number 9, it's the position of the greatest need across the board in the Canadian Premier League. But if I'm him, it's got to absolutely be the right fit. If not, I'm staying put. So I'm going to say likely stays at York.
Jordan Wilson.
Unlikely. And the reason I say that is because he's going to be turning 30 in this next 2025 season. And you probably want, I'm not going to age him or put a cap on his career, but you're looking maybe at the end, the last 2 years or whatever it might be. I think you want to go and win something. I think potentially you want to go and play in Champions Cup. I think you want to go and play for the best teams and get that service. So I could see a world where he goes to Forge. I could see a world where he goes to Calgary. Woo! I could even see a world where he goes back to Atletico Ottawa. Yeah, 1,000%. I think, of course, he could be at York, but I think it's very unlikely. If I had to rate them, York would be at the bottom of those 4 teams I just mentioned.
Forge. Oh, man.
Oliver Platt.
Wow. That would be.
I'm going to say which way around is it? Will suit up. I'm going to say it's unlikely that he'll play for a different CPL
You're a wise
team.
man,
I think he will consider his options and have a look around and then decide that he's got a good situation at York United.
He's going to stay, you said?
Player of the year.
Well, the manager that didn't play him in the playoffs is gone now. So
that's true.
Maybe the wounds are still raw. Maybe.
That was crazy. Maybe.
Hey, he
would be.
I don't know.
Me,
he looked pretty.
It wouldn't be for you.
CPL awards. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. He looked like nothing. Nothing. We had one more question for Oliver Platt, but he's off the hook. We don't have time, so let's get to our 20-bet top picks. Presented by tonybet, a little Premier League action on this Friday episode of One Soccer Today. Man City minus 193 to Tottenham at plus 440 away. Or Garrett Wheeler, if you're fancying some goals, over 3.5 pays minus 113.
Yeah, I like the goals in Spurs' last 3 trips to the Etihad: 3-3, 4-2, 2-3. There being goals in these games. City overall against Spurs, by the way, 3-1 and 4 in their last time. And City coming to this game having lost 4 in a row. Give me Spurs on the team total goals 1.5. So they need to score 2 for you to win at a nice big number at plus 166.
All right, I'm going to ensure that nobody gets their club that they support. So let's go to you next, Jordan Wilson. Man U plus 400. Ipswich United minus 159. Can you believe that?
What? That can't be right.
First of all, I don't care what Ipswich has. Don't bet against Man United right now. The vibes
New era.
The vibes are right over there. Okay. Look, and Wheels knows it because Wheels has been smiling. You don't feel good about your chances against Ipswich?
I have no idea what's going to happen under Ruben Amorim. He's changing the front. Like I can't trust this team.
So many times.
Man United.
He's been hurt so many times.
I'll take this one. I'll take this one.
Okay,
I'm taking Ipswich. My dad is an Ipswich fan. He's managed to nab himself a ticket for this game, so he's very excited.
Nice.
Oh,
and they're going to get a big result.
Kieran McKenna revenge match.
Jordan Wilson. Yeah. Arsenal minus 271 to Nottingham Forest. How much do you want to cheese off Jimmy Brennan?
Sorry, Jimmy. Sorry, the 3 points are coming home with the Gunners. For sure.
Who's
and fit? I think by 2 goals.
Is Saka fit?
Doesn't matter.
Take Forest on the handicap.
Don't.
There we go. Our TonyBet top picks for this Friday, November 22nd. Another week of One Soccer Today in the books. Thanks for joining us for all of it. We'll see you on Monday right here on